welcome to the show. My guest today is Mandy Geddes. Mandy is the Director for Accreditation at IECL, the Institute of Executive Coaching and Leadership. And Mandy has been with IECL for nearly 18 years now and started her career there as a training coordinator. And now she is the go-to person for many coaches, aspiring coaches, and coach supervisors. And she has definitely been my partner in crime when I was on my coaching and supervision training journey. And she was also proofreader for my book. What you might not know about her is that she lived both in a commune and an ashram at various points in her life. Mandy, to get to know you even better, I have some quick questions for you. What superpower do you wish you had?
Oh, absolutely. Would love to be able to fly.
What is the best getaway destination you went?
Turkey, absolutely gorgeous, still smiling.
Yes, I can imagine. Oh, the sailing there is wonderful.
Yeah.
And what is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
I moved across the world to another country when I was 7 with just my sister, who was 10.
Wow, that is adventurous indeed. And what makes you sing out loud?
Road trips.
Yeah. And who is your greatest role model?
At the moment, I'd have to say my boss. She's just so calm and inspiring, and always and forever a long time. Helen Garner, great Aussie author.
What is your take on adaptability and where do you see the opportunities to adapt?
It's almost becoming a cliche. I mean, we've all been pivoting and adapting and, you know, we have to. It's adapt or die right now, isn't it? Back in March, we were still asking the ICF if we could please teach online because we weren't allowed to. And then within 6 weeks, we had everything that we do online. It was a mammoth. It was, it was quite an incredible time. And I have to say, for me personally, you know, I love change, but I'm not the fastest person to adapt. And I think having been part of such a successful business for a long time, I was probably quite set in my ways. And it did take a pandemic for me to be convinced that you can teach coaching online. I didn't know it could be done. And guess what? It can.
Yeah.
Our mantra is kind of connection over perfection because, you know, kids are going to come in and out, you know, trade turn up that are not meant to on that day. You know, husbands and partners and people walk in and, you know, it's not about perfection, it's about connection. And one thing that's been wonderful is just how incredibly inclusive and diverse those Zoom classrooms have been and how democratic, you know, there's no bad seats in a Zoom room.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a really amazing actually to see the learning outcomes that we're getting out of those rooms. And honestly, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, no, can't be done. But yeah, it can. So there's plenty more opportunity to adapt, no doubt. Things are changing day by day. Every morning when I listen to the news, I think, wow, okay, now what? You know, I think we have to just be ready to pivot. You know, it's a cliche, but what can we do?
Absolutely. And in times of pressure, I might say, talking about being human, how do you ensure strategic thinking is still prioritized?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, it sounds old, but I still go back to Stephen Covey's 7 Habits stuff. I know that book's nearly 30 or maybe over 30 years old now, but,
but if it works.
Matrix about what's urgent, what's important. You know, I still ask myself every day, okay, what's important?
Yeah.
I don't like to wait for strategic thinking to get urgent. Ideally, you know, it's in that quadrant where it's prioritized. I think, and then maybe it's especially working from home, that there's a fairly relentless flow of Slack messages and emails, and I think we're all having to sort the important and the urgent from each other all day long. So yeah, for me, actually getting outside and getting away from the screen and the messages for a walk gives me some time for thinking. actually literally do make appointments with myself just to get out and walk around and, you know, just think.
In mind. You know, you are every day in education, right? So what do you do to educate yourself to keep up with leadership and industry developments?
Yeah, great question. I mean, first of all, I'm surrounded by fantastic coaches who are kind of researchers and academics as well. So I get a lot of education and inspiration from my colleagues. There's a lot of stuff being shared. Actually, a lot of our alumni have really great newsletters, and I'm up on all their lists, of course, and I don't get to read them all, but I try to at least scan them, and I get some fantastic gems from our alumni, many of whom are really successful coaches, like yourself. And then there's other newsletters that I also read. Like I try to kind of keep on top of McKinsey, although they're so prolific at the moment, they're just churning out stuff. But Michelle McQuaid's podcast is also excellent, making positive psychology work. So I try and keep up with that. And IECL has a great podcast as well that always listen to. Highly recommend it.
Hey, and when you are dealing with really, you know, complex dilemmas, how do you get clarity? What do you do to get that?
Try to take a coaching approach always, and that's all about listening, questioning, being very curious, very consultative. And then I think, you know, which is also a coaching approach, it's about intuition and you know, going with your instincts. And you know, sometimes I notice in large meetings I might be thinking something, I'm not saying it, and then I'll hear someone else say it and think, oh, that's what I was thinking. You know, you have to really go with your instincts and you know, be attuned to them. And also, you know, it's a values thing. So, you know, what's important for me as a principal, you know, also the values of the organization. So keeping all of that in mind, I think ultimately the coaching approach is what sums it up.
Yeah, works for me as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, and when you were thinking about your answers to these questions, reflecting on it, what have you told yourself that you're gonna do differently going forward, or maybe even be differently going forward?
Yeah, a big one at the moment is really just looking out for everyone. Everyone's well, not everyone, but a lot of people are in a vulnerable place right now. You know, I've got colleagues in Victoria, they're having a tough time. You know, so just really trying to be very aware of people's humanity, you know, trying to be, you know, first of all, compassionate towards others. So the more I've reflected on your questions in preparing for this is just realizing, you know, that the people come first, you know, through all that pivoting, you know, everyone is potentially, you know, running on adrenaline. We have to really look for each other and make well-being a real priority. You know, and that's for myself as well, you know, make sure that I get the things I need in terms of sleep and exercise and, you know, time out in nature and all those things. So, and then, I guess the other thing, just reflecting on all this, was just realizing, you know, that I do kind of have that coaching approach embedded, but it doesn't hurt to make it conscious. And just really, you know, literally take a coaching approach in terms of, you know, questioning and being curious and, you know, being consultative.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mandy, for sharing all the wisdom.
You're welcome.
And thanks everyone here. Let's make sure we all look after each other and keep shifting. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.